Hello everyone, welcome to the new episode of Professionals Unplugged. I am your host Utkarsh Shukla. Let me introduce you to my guest Debbie. Debbie, thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you, and thanks for the invitation to speak with you.
Thank you so much, Debbie. So let's begin with our very basic question. Can you please introduce our audience about yourself, like who you are, what work you do, anything about you?
Okay, so I'll start a little bit about who I am or what motivates me. Then I'll jump into a little bit about um, what I do. Right. So the way I like to describe to people when I'm asked a question about who I am is really going to what motivates me every day. And for me, it's all about um, what can I do to have a positive impact on the world. I'm a part of an international group called Maxwell leadership team. We're a group of leadership coaches, speakers, and trainers that have access and use the work of John Maxwell, who is recognized as being one of the most impactful or influential leaders that we have today. And one of the things that he talks a lot about that resonates with me is that my passion to be better and my passion to be on a journey of my own evolution really is grounded in that desire that I have to help others to be better. So if you went to my website for my company, Diamond Cut Leadership Network, you'll see that my tagline is around, helping leaders to become better so that they can get better results. And that connects with my core. I want to feel that when I'm no longer around, or even while I'm around, that I'm helping to co-create a world that works better for all. So that's a little bit about what drives me. How I show up, how I do that work is I'm the executive director for Diamond Cut Leadership Network. We're a small consultancy and coaching business or practice that's located in Dubai, in the UAE. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to live and work in a beautiful and inspiring place. And I spend the majority of my days working with leaders one-to-one. I've been around for a little while, so I'm a person that's gone on a journey from being a nurse at the bedside, taking care of patients, to moving through healthcare organizations internationally, where I've had roles like vice president for quality and process improvement. So focused on helping organizations to really just become better at what they do and getting better outcomes for the people that we serve. And one of my most amazing jobs, I worked for an international accrediting body where I had the opportunity to be on the consulting team, where I would work with organizations around the world. So I've had an opportunity to work in South America, of course in North America, in Asia, in Europe, and of course here in the Middle East. And when you have the privilege of walking into organizations, you sometimes see things that are very different, very unique. And then you sometimes see things that you realize it's a common thread. And one of the things that, as I shifted and really started to reflect on how I wanted to do my future work, I realized that sometimes the reason why leaders are not as effective as they can be has to do with things that are related to them. So like building their confidence, helping them to release, limiting beliefs, helping them to have their own personal way of daily reflection and that continuous improvement and really building themselves. One of the things when I worked on the strategy side, so in my formal role in organizations, one of the things that I would say is, okay, now we have a strategy. Do we have the organization that can enact that strategy? Because without having the right skills, et cetera, you can't achieve your goal. So now what I say to leaders individually, when you think about where you want to go, what you want to achieve, what do you have to do to become that person in order that
Achieve
that
that, right?
person who can execute and achieve those goals. So I have this, I get to play in this beautiful space, learning every day how to become a better coach and really helping leaders to find those solutions inside with the idea that their lives become better. And then those that lead, from small to large teams, because I've had the opportunity to coach young, aspiring leaders who want to get that first big role. And I've had the opportunity to coach leaders who are already leading large organizations. So because we're all on that journey of how can we be a little bit better and how can we more effectively achieve our goals. So that's a little bit of about what I do. And besides my coaching business, I still do some quality consultation because that's my love. That's something that people still recognize me as doing. So I still do some consultations where I'm going into organizations and helping them to build their quality and patient safety infrastructure as well. So I get to do some really fun things.
That's really awesome. So you have mentioned 2 or 3 things, like 3 parts I can cut your info into, right? First one is from nurse to an executive director of Diamond Cut Leadership. So one question on that thing, like how was the journey, like how you got transformed from being a nurse, like as you mentioned on the website, and now coming to being the executive leader of a company, right? Diamond Cut Leadership. So can you just put some light on the same?
Okay, so started off as a nurse, and so I sometimes use this in introductions when I'm talking to groups. So for me, it's a natural progression that occurred, and for others, it's like you started off from nursing and you ended up with a master's in human resource management and development, and you have an undergrad in applied behavioral sciences. How did that all come together? The way that I think about it is really for nursing. I entered nursing school right out of high school. So like many young nurses, we want to quote unquote help people. So my initial journey is really about helping to heal and comfort the individual. And like I shared earlier, one of the things that I've observed at the organizational level, and then I realized as I was exposed to many, many organizations, that it actually happens fairly frequently, is that organizations are organic places, just like the human body. And organizations sometimes need to be healed. And early in my career, I saw that as healthcare organizations, even though people come to us to be healed, we're not always the most healing places for those that work within the organizations. And I think quite early in my career, I had actually decided that I didn't want to be a nurse anymore because the environment was not nurturing for me. And that's why I actually went back to school and I got a degree that had And at the time, I thought nothing to do with nursing. As a matter of fact, that degree actually turned me back into loving healthcare and loving what I did, because now I started to understand the organization as organic and the organization as something that we can make better. We often talk about how can we improve the culture. So that began my journey through jobs where at the time in my healthcare role, I did like clinical education roles, etc. And as the quality and patient safety movement started to grow in healthcare, I started to get roles in that space as well. And I realized not only do we fix processes so that we can give patients better health care, when we work on culture, we also impact people. So my interest in that area has continued to grow, and I've been lucky enough to work with organizations who also see that blending, where we want to get the best at providing the best care, but that we also want to make sure that we create thriving places where people want to show up. Is what I call, we want organizations that pass the Monday morning test.
Yeah.
And the Monday morning test is, when I wake up on Monday morning, do I want to go to work or not? And the organizations, and we're not talking, no organization I think around the world is regarded as being perfect, but we're talking about organizations where people are excited to be. They feel valued. They feel that when this team that I work on, this place where I work, that I feel that they see me, they hear me, and they value me. And so that is the kind of work that I've had the privilege to be able to do, to create cultures that are closer to where people pass the Monday morning test, where they wake up and it's like, I want to go because my team is kind of cool, and we're doing some amazing things together.
And that's awesome. So first part of your journey, like you are a nurse, so this thing took place in which part of the world?
So I've actually lived and worked in 5 countries.
Oh, okay.
So I was actually born in the Caribbean, in the Bahamas, did a part of my education at University of the West Indies in Jamaica, and I have lived in the US as well. I've lived in Canada, and the US and Canada are sort of like my 2 adopted homes. And I moved to the UAE about 6 years ago for a leadership role at an amazing organization here in the UAE. And after COVID, like lots of people, I started to reflect on, how did I want to spend my day to day? And being all the way in the UAE, and the majority of my family is between the Bahamas and the US and Canada, I decided to restructure how I work so that I can have more flexibility, where I can do work that I love, but I also can have the flexibility to spend time with family and friends whenever I wanted to. So right now I get to work in the UAE, but then I get to spend time with family and friends in other parts of the world.
That's awesome. So what is your dream now? Like, you are being the executive director of Diamond Cut Leadership. So what's next for you?
So my dream right now is to continue this path of evolution. Like right now I have a small practice. Of course, I want to grow that practice even more. But I think about back to 2014. So back to 2014, I was working in a Canadian organization with a CEO that was so amazing. I thought that I had the best role in the world. And I was attending a conference in Paris, and they were talking about your same question. What's your dream for the future? How do you see yourself bringing more impact, living a life of significance. And at the time, I wrote on my pledge, I want to be a coach that inspires the world. I had no idea how that was meant to be unfolding. At the time, I thought that I would just continue to do more coaching in a leadership role within organizations around quality and patient safety and transformation. I never imagined that it would evolve into what I'm doing today. So I would say my dream then is to allow that what I do now, so the clients that I get to work with, to evolve in a way that not only am I doing the work that I do, but I continue to empower others. So the name of my company is Diamond Cut Leadership Network. I want to see that part of the name of the company evolve, right? Where I have a network of coaches and consultants who have a similar idea, not just to be successful, not just to earn more money, but to want to use their skills, want to use their capabilities to leave this world in a better place than what it is right now. So that's my vision. That's my dream for the future.
That's really awesome. So you are right now living your dream, what you have dreamt 10 years ago, right? As you mentioned, 2014 in Paris, that conference, that's truly amazing of you. But now your dream is to make people leave Earth a better place, or leave this world a better place, right? I think
Yes.
that's what differentiate between leadership quality and successful person quality, right? Success might be related to you only or your family, but leadership, you need to take care of your surroundings. By surroundings, it can be your people around, the colleagues you work with, right? So you need to take the whole group of them together, right? Like as a captain of a ship.
Yes. Yes, it's about one of us can have a little impact when we start to share our skills and our capabilities with others. Then we see that impact just replicating, right? So what now started off as a small possibility becomes a big reality. And whether you're looking at it from a healthcare perspective, helping more quality leaders within healthcare do a better job, where we are impacting and getting better outcomes for patients, or we're thinking about leaders in general. I had the opportunity, one of my roles, I worked in the province of Alberta, where we have a huge healthcare system. And the organization was responsible for around 100,000 lives at the time. So can you imagine, when you close your eyes and you think about it, that every leader in that organization, or I should say many leaders, when the people that work within that organization, when they leave, think about the ripple effect of the impact of our leadership. And so leadership is a privilege, it's a responsibility, because what happens to people within the organization impacts them, it impacts their families, it impacts their communities. And so the privilege of leadership is so awesome, but it carries a big responsibility. So any little thing that I can do to help a leader to become even more effective, I see it as a small little thing that I can do to help our world to be better.
That's really awesome. So I will like to ask you one last question. Like as you mentioned, you are interacting with a lot of leaders these days. Some of them are starting their journey, while some of them are very experienced. So have you find any common problem that these leaders have nowadays? Like any one common problem that you think is common between all those leaders?
So I think every leader, no matter where they're at in their journey, one thing is that we're always looking to say, how can we continue to enhance our skills, because there's always a little bit, there's always an opportunity to get a little better. The other thing that I find in myself and the leaders that I work with is that we all have fears. We all have, I refer them as gremlins, right? We all have fears. We all have limited beliefs. And so that too is a continual journey, right? So how do we face those fears so that we become better, we become more confident? Because the more confident we are in who we show up better, much more authentic. And when we are coming from an authentic place, we connect better, people trust us better. And so therefore, we have much more impact in the places where we work, where we show up. And so working on ourselves, doing that own personal development, having a personal development roadmap for each of us is so important. No matter whether you're the aspiring young leader who's just starting out, or you are, the CEO of a huge organization, all of us need to ensure that we know what are our personal development opportunities. And like we just started off 2024, what are those things that we're going to do to help ourselves to get better? Like I have my own roadmap of things that I'm working on for 2024, and all of us should have as well.
That's really awesome, Debbie. I think that's the best point to end this interview. It was really amazing talking to you and getting your insights on the leadership talks, or how people can improve themselves as a human and how they can contribute to make this world a better place to live, right? So thank you so much. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks, Debbie. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.